Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Alex. If you don't already know me, I am a real estate investor, and I want to make these videos to share with you guys the challenges I'm having, the struggles I'm overcoming, and hopefully you can use this information to accelerate your own journey. So today we have a direct to agent call. Normally I do mostly direct to seller, but we do some direct to agent as well. And there's good reason to do so. So I guess one big advantage, there's two major advantages to direct to agent, right? One is it's extremely low cost or free. And the second is you can build these relationships with these people and they will be continual deals in the future. So direct to seller, most of the time it's one deal, one relationship, and then you're kind of done. Direct to agent, you can hit the gold mine, you can hit the jackpot and come across an agent that constantly is sending you and feeding you deals. So that's super powerful. In terms of the differences between direct to agent and direct to seller, it's mostly the same, but there are a few key things you need to know for a direct agent. So one is you have to constantly remind them that you are going to pay their commission on creative deals, at least. On cash deals, it's understood how they're going to get paid and everything. But for creative deals, you need to constantly remind them that, yep, I'm going to pay your commission, I'm going to pay your commission, you're going to get paid, it's going to be okay. Otherwise, they're going to be totally not open to any of this. The second thing is when I'm talking to agents, I'm going to volunteer way more information than when I'm just talking to a seller, because I know that I'm going to have to convince this agent who then is going to have to go convince the seller. And if the seller doesn't, or if the agent, doesn't have all these objection overcomes and all this information, they're not going to be able to relay properly the benefits and how the seller is secure and stuff like that. So normally for a seller, if they're not asking about something, usually you don't just bring it up, you don't just volunteer it. But with an agent, you might actually want to do that just to make sure that they have all the proper information. They know how you're taking the seller seriously, how you're protecting them, and that sort of thing. So that's another difference. The third difference is when you're communicating with them, you want to put them as the hero of the story. So normally when you're talking to a seller, you want, with your third party stories and all that stuff, the seller is the hero. In this situation, now you're talking to the agent. The only thing you change is now the agent is the hero. So just minor changes. I mean, the other stuff is pretty much all the same. You still have to build rapport. You still have to get them to trust you and understand you and make them feel understood. They have the exact same objections as everybody else. It's the same thing. You still want to provide value. Try to get them to realize like what are their actual options and get them to weigh this option compared to what other options they have. So beyond that, it's the same, right? So it's just talking to people, just trying to build relationships, provide value, and let's get into it.
Hello, this is Jessica.
Hey, Jessica, this is Alex. How are you?
Hey, Alex, I'm good. Sorry, I know I
Awesome.
just bombarded you with like 400 text messages.
No,
I was
you're
on the phone
okay.
with the seller, and she's asking me these questions. And I was like, shit, I didn't ask those questions.
No worries at all. I was actually just typing up an email for you, and I just got a couple texts like, I'll just give you a call. I'll shoot you an email too, but
Okay.
I was in the process of sending over some references and stuff like that. I guess what other questions do you have here?
So right off the bat, it's the exact same. You want to build that human connection as quickly as possible. You want to laugh with them. You want to joke with them. You don't want to be a robot. You don't want to be reading from a script. So same with direct to seller, same with direct to agent. Step one is always make a human connection.
Okay, references. How long do y'all typically hold the property before maybe like reselling it again?
Just to set expectations, expect for the mortgage to be in your name for the end of time. At least until it's paid off. But in reality, exactly like you said, we always pretty much refinance like 4, 5, 6, 7 years, somewhere in there. Refinance or sell to get our equity out so that way we can keep growing this thing.
That's what I told her. I said, because after about 2 to 4 years, once they've built some equity, that's probably when they'll sell it if the market's right.
That's pretty normal for us in that time frame for sure. But I guess was there something your seller was concerned about with it still being in their name?
So here's the first objection, right? And you always want to set the expectation that, hey, this loan is going to be in your seller's name for the entire life of the loan. And then just be honest, right? Like if you actually do refinance, typically between 5 and 7 years and stuff like that, then it's okay to just tell them that. But the first step is always set that expectation. Hey, it's going to be in your seller's name for the entire length of the loan. And then what I actually did at the end of that was kind of pull out, like, you know, why is that an issue? Give me more information so I can maybe address the underlying concern, so we can peel that onion back a little bit and kind of dive into what the actual objection is, right? Not the surface level one.
Related to the mortgage, are the payments paid to them and they pay the mortgage company, or does your servicing company handle all the payments directly to the mortgage company going forward?
Exactly, yeah. So we hire the servicing company. The servicing company then pays the mortgage and the taxes and the insurance and all that other stuff too. Also, that servicing company basically acts as proof that the seller is no longer the one responsible for that payment, so that, like you said, their new lender can take it off their debt to income ratio.
Yes.
Just another kind of situation where direct to agent is a little different than direct to seller. She didn't really ask about debt to income ratio or anything like that, but I just wanted to tell her preemptively because I know that she's going to need all this information when she goes and talks to her seller, because her seller might deeply care about that, and maybe they want to get a new loan, and their belief in their head is, hey, I can't get a new loan if this one's still in my name. So I try to just give more information when I talk to agents, so that they have that knowledge that, oh, okay, you actually can get a new loan, and okay, we can remove this one from your debt to income ratio.
So, if they decide to move forward with this, are they obligated for any financial output going forward?
No. So at that point, we're the property owner. Every repair, every tax bill, every mortgage payment is our responsibility. But like, let's just say, because I'm sure here's the main objection we get, right? Like, let's say 5 years down the road or something, we disappear, we get abducted by aliens, and we miss a payment, right? What happens then? So basically, what we always do is we give you a performance deed that basically says if we miss a single payment by 30 days, the whole property gets deeded back to you, and you keep all our down payment money, keep all our monthly payment money, you keep that principal pay down, you keep the renovations we've done to the property, because we're going to come in and try to get top dollar on rent. So really, I mean, it's kind of a weird thing to think about, but let's say 3 years down the road we miss a payment. It's kind of like the best case scenario for the seller, because then they get to sell that property twice and get paid twice. And this time they have significantly more equity.
Can you kind of include that in your email when you send it? That
you bet.
Part that you just explained, I think that'll help.
So I did the same thing again there. She didn't ask about the performance deed, but I just brought it up. I just wanted her to know that. I just wanted to arm her with that information, so when then she goes to have that second conversation with her seller, the seller says, what if they miss a payment? And then she can say, oh, okay, we talked about this. We actually get a performance deed, so if they're ever literally 30 days late, the whole thing gets back to us.
And then I guess the final question is, does the current lender need to approve this? Is there an approval process that has to be gone through, or is it all done regardless of the lender's opinion?
Yeah, no, I mean, the lender really, nothing really changes for that lender. So currently as it sits is the lender has a loan, the loan is collateral for the house. I mean, nothing changes for that lender, so they are really not involved in this process. They just keep the mortgage in place. They keep the house as collateral for that mortgage. It's just now our servicing company is paying them every single month.
So did they get notified? Because at that point, I would feel like, I'm just thinking through this, if the property's deeded to someone else now, wouldn't the lender need to know that?
So there is something called a due on sale clause. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Yep. So basically, the lender has the right to technically accelerate the loan if they ever do choose to in the future, and that's kind of a risk on our side. And we factor it in. It honestly, out of the 1,500 doors we have, 80% of these are creative deals like this, and I can't even honestly say if it's happened one time. So really, the lender cares about is if they're getting paid still every single month. Like if they weren't getting paid, now they're probably going to be upset. Now they're gonna accelerate that loan. But honestly, as long as they're getting paid, that's exactly what they're there for. So they're not going to raise any red flags for sure. but it is a risk for sure, and we do take it into account. And if it ever does happen, yeah, we would be forced to go refinance and pay off that old loan.
Gotcha.
So just re-listening to this now, it's the same exact objections that the sellers give you, the same ones the agents give you. So do I need to notify the bank? No, not really. Nothing really changes there. The house is still collateral for the loan. Now it's just the servicing company paying the loan. I would say I actually could have done a better job there. So she caught me off guard a little bit with that one. I could have answered with a little more confidence, right? Because me and my partners and stuff, we do have like literally 1,500 doors, and this has happened 0 times. Like actually going through and actually happened 0 times. So answer with confidence. And maybe you don't have 1,500 doors, but hey, your partners, who do you work with? Who are you associates with? Maybe you can say, yeah, like this guy I work really close with, he's got 500 doors, whatever. He does this all the time. It's literally never been a problem. Honestly, it probably happens 1 in 1,000 houses. And so it's really just not that big of a risk. You just need to calculate for it and account for it.
So then as far as the closing side of it goes, do you basically come to the table with cash to satisfy any current arrears on the loan and bring it current?
Yes.
Okay.
We do. So yep, that would be having to take into account. So on closing day, yeah, we would catch up the loan, however much it was behind. We would pay the closing costs. We would pay your commission, and then we would have to figure out if there was a number that would make sense that we could pay to your seller at the closing table. I don't know their situation for the amount of arrears and stuff like that, so we would have to look at that. But yep, we would catch up the arrears on the closing day.
Again, just kind of sneak in there. Yep, hey, we're going to pay your commission. We're going to catch up the arrears. We're going to bring this loan up to speed. Kind of relaying the benefits there. Just trying, again, to arm her with more information so that when she goes back to the seller, she can say, hey, these guys are going to give us a higher purchase price than anybody else. They're going to pay for my commission so you don't have to. They're going to catch up your loan. They're going to help fix your credit. They're going to make sure you can go get another loan. Just giving her more and more information, because if she's not sold on it, if she doesn't fully understand it, if she doesn't believe it, then there's 0 chance of her passing that belief on to her seller.
Okay. Is there any other question I should ask that you can think of?
So this is just an example of an agent call where basically the whole call was them throwing out objections and me just overcoming. I do believe we're actually getting this one under contract tomorrow, hopefully. So this one's looking good. Again, when you're talking to agents, just remember that you have to kind of make them the hero of the story instead of the seller. You have to remind them to pay their commission. And when I talk to agents, at least, I like to arm them with information. I want to basically coach them up into all the benefits that I can offer so that they can then take that belief, build that belief up in themselves, and then transfer that belief to their sellers. So that's just an example of a direct to agent call. Direct to agent can be extremely powerful because you can build those long-term relationships where they're sending you deals for the rest of your life. And also it's extremely low cost, very low barrier to entry. So super good advantages there. Also let me know what else you guys are looking for, what other type of content you'd like to see, and like and subscribe.